All right, welcome back. Today we're covering part two of the sheep mites here at the farm that we had, and we did a bit of research and learning through this ordeal as it was. And one of the first things that we learned was the mites actually they have a super fast reproductive cycle and growth cycle, and within a very short time it would they just the population must have taken off because it's doing a lot more damage to the ram we have, and then it spread to our ewe that we kept with him. So going back a little bit in the story, if you haven't watched part one, please watch that. But basically, our ram got infected with these mites, and the rest of the flock we took to another property, and we left him with one female and her daughter just for companionship. And the mites just got so big, or not, large, but so many in quantity that they actually spread to the female, the mother, and so uh, we had to take action fast. So what we did actually is we sheared the ram, and um, we gave it a bath, as you see now. Uh, he was kicking a little bit because it was really cold water. He didn't really like the cold water on certain body parts. Um, so that's what you see with that. So we sheared him. That way we could get down close to the skin. We used Dawn liquid soap to wash him, and it also kind of helped. We noticed it helped kind of coat the skin, and it helped with killing some of the mites. And but beyond that, what we used was pour on uh, ivermectin or sidectin, one of the two, and that it was recommended by our vet. And normally we like more natural, more like homeopathic remedies, but we were really this time really didn't really have uh, time to experiment and figure out what to use, what best to do, because he was in really bad shape. He was biting on his legs. He was biting on the back of his on his rear end, and you know, just really bad, agitated, running up and down the pasture, the fence line, just rubbing, and just really in bad shape. And we didn't want to take the extra time to experiment, So, plus, then when it spread to the ewe that we had with him, we were afraid that it would jump to the lamb as well, and so we just had to nip it real quick in the bud. So that's why we just went straight for the ivermectin pour on, and it did really really well. One thing that we noted, just a little also information. The breed he is a blue-faced Leicester, so he does have a. They naturally have that blue face and neck, and then they have blue on their butt. But as you see here, you can kind of see the one wound on his hip, but there were so much mites that the blue kind of expanded. It was like a lot of leather, and not really expanded, but it had done so much damage that it got really thick skin and had spread. And so I'd say about 2/3 of that blue on his rear end was actually from the mites, whereas it normally wasn't natural like that. So if you watch part one, you'll actually get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But anyways, I highly recommend, if you have, or if you think you have mites on your sheep, um, definitely have a vet come out right off the bat. We took a little bit of time maybe like, I don't know, 5 days, 4 or 5 days, because we weren't sure right off the bat what was going on with him, and it just exponentially grew. It, Later on in the video, you'll see we've put him in this little holding pen in the front yard, because what we also learned was the mites, since they have such a fast life cycle, that if you wash them like this and hit them with a drench and all, you put them in a new, clean, fresh area and let their old area rest for about at least I think it was like 10 days. We did like about over 2 weeks, a little over. Because what it does is it kills out their life cycle. All the adults die out with no new host, and any potential eggs or young ones also die out. And so that's what we did. And they're back in their pasture now with no issues. So it was a really good deal, really good thing. And what they were doing from research into this is we're still not sure how he got it in the first place, but they rub up against trees, rub up against like the wooden fence posts and things of that nature, and the mites will stay in those areas if they get rubbed off, and then get picked up by something new. Or if they're like if they have a preferred resting area, some of them might stay in the ground, in the sand, or in the building that they're in, what have you, wherever they're resting at, and they can spread that way. Also, if they're rubbing up against other sheep at the feed trough, is one really good example. If they're all shoulder to shoulder in real tight at a feed trough, they can hop from sheep to sheep that way and expand. But basically, we had to eliminate them resting in their favorite spots and reinfecting themselves. So we had to move them completely to a new area, and so basically, it was a really hard deal, and we had to pay really close attention to the other sheep in the flock that I had moved in case they were slower developing. But none of them, thankfully, got infected with the mites, and now we're just letting them, the three that we have here and at the house, let them heal back up and go from there. But it's definitely a huge learning thing for us, because I've never had this happen my whole, I don't know, 12 years of having sheep. And so, very thankful for Google and our vet. So, I hope this is a learning experience for you as well. Just shear them if they need sheared, and hit them with a drench, and good to go.